Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I rise tonight to pay tribute to our incredible veterans community in my electorate on the Central Coast. As a community, it's incredibly important that we do honour and continue to honour the service and sacrifice of the men and women who served and continue to serve in the defence of our country. At present, the Department of Veterans Affairs supports more than 290,000 Australians, including more than 2,400 in my electorate of Robertson. So it was fantastic to hear the comments made by the Minister for Veterans Affairs in Parliament recently, including the ministerial statement on veterans and their families. The Minister gave a commitment to three key areas which are worth emphasising now. Firstly, a standalone Department of Veterans Affairs. Secondly, a department that focuses on the needs of veterans first. And thirdly, that we've committed to a stronger voice for the veteran community, which I can also commit to for veterans in my own community. I'd also like to recognise the importance of veterans' health. Part of the process is about raising awareness, for example through Veterans Health Week in October, which has the theme of physical health, but there's also a role for the government to assist. Last year, the Turnbull government committed to providing veterans with free and immediate mental health treatment. In this year's budget, the scheme was expanded to cover all mental health conditions, meaning that any veteran of the full-time ADF will have access to free and immediate mental health cover. This is considered the biggest change in veterans policy in decades, but we must continue to build on it, such as through the investment of $9.8 million to pilot new approaches to suicide prevention and to improve care and support available to veterans. This will include funding to increase support for those discharging from hospital and who are at risk. Mr Speaker, these issues and more were raised with me just last weekend at Ettalong Beach for the service for our Vietnam veterans, which was well attended by a cross-section of our Central Coast community. And it was, as always, an incredible honour to attend the annual march and ceremony along the Ettalong foreshore and to lay a wreath in remembrance. Much of the advocacy for veterans in this area is done by the Vietnam Veterans Peacekeepers and Peacemakers Association of Australia, Central Coast Sub-Branch. And I'm pleased to be able to announce that this sub-branch has received more than $17,000 to help with covering some of the costs of their Ettalong office. This funding will be delivered through the Building Excellence in Support and Training, or BEST grants. The BEST program helps provide support for our veterans organisations that assist the community through pensions, advocacy and welfare work. Woy Woy Ettalong Hardies Bay RSL sub-branch will also benefit from the latest round of the BEST grants. The sub-branch has received more than $6,000 to contribute to the costs associated with their veterans advocacy services, which is fantastic news for veterans associated with the hard work, service and support that happens every day around the peninsula. As part of the latest round of BEST funding, Brisbane Water Legacy has also received more than $10,000 under this program. Peter Lawley, the CEO, told me that in the case of Brisbane Water Legacy, the grant will help support staff in preparing all the paperwork for applications for war widow pension claims for recently widowed individuals. Peter said that the assistance will be able to help those dealing with the confusion and stress of suffering from the loss of a loved one by ensuring that they have all the support that they need. Mr Speaker, it comes at a very good time for Legacy too, with next Sunday, the 24th of August, the start of Legacy Week around Australia. Legacy Week aims to raise funds to assist around 70,000 widows Australia-wide, including nearly 2,000 on the Central Coast. During Legacy Week, I'll host a roundtable for veterans from across the electorate in my office to hear their stories, listen to their concerns and to be able to better advocate on their behalf. And I look forward to meeting and hearing from representatives across our electorate and to listen to how we can best support those who need it most. Finally, Mr Speaker, I'd like to recognise veterans groups from across our electorate who do so much each and every day. Organisations including the Vietnam Veterans Peacekeepers and Peacemakers Association of Australia Central Coast Sub-Branch at Ettalong, the Gosford RSL Sub-Branch, the Terrigal Wombrel RSL Sub-Branch, Veterans Plus, Gosford's 311 Squadron of the Australian Air Force Cadets, Brisbane Water Legacy, Central Coast Subsection Naval Association of Australia, Central Coast Interactive War Exhibit, Davistown RSL Sub-Branch, Partners of Veterans Association Central Coast Sub-Branch and the New South Wales National Service Servicemen's Association and Affiliates Incorporated. I pay tribute to each and every organisation and individual who works so hard to ensure that veterans and their families are supported. Thank you for all that you do for our community.